Hello Beckies and Buckleries. Today I'm going to be showing you my October TBR, and God almighty help me, it is very big. So let's get started after my husband gives me my Tamiflu.
Actually, this has our address on it, maybe. I don't know. Here you go.
Tamiflu.
Tamiflu.
You can't see the other side because they put our address on it.
It has our old address on it.
Oh my God.
Okay.
How did they even have our old address? We never used that one before.
I don't know. I had to change it while I was there.
We never used Walgreens before.
We're in their system.
Okay, so we're going to be starting on the books I want to read for fun. We're going to be progressing to the books that I need to read for clubs, and then progressing to the books that I decided that I need to read for punishment. I like punishing myself, apparently.
Which stack's your fun stack?
This small stack of 4.
Which
You'll
stack's my book in?
Punishment pile. Alright, so I'm going to start with Campfire by Sean Sarlis. This is in my for fun stack because this is a horror book and I want to read some horror reads during October. Is there any way to say horror without sounding like you're saying whore? I don't know. Anyways, this is one of the James Patterson Presents books and it seems really good. The synopsis says, while camping in a remote location, Maddie Davenport gathers... Isn't like Maddie Davenport like the most cliche name ever? Like I feel like I see this name a lot in YA and I don't know why. Gathers with her friends and family around the fire to tell scary stories. Caleb, the handsome young guide, shares the legend of the mountain men who hunt down unsuspecting campers and carve grisly antlers into their victims' foreheads. The next day the story comes true. So this is kind of like an wow, I'm getting so distracted during this video. I don't know if I can catch the light on the camera, but my God, the eyes glow. That's so cool. This reminds me a lot of Are You Afraid of the Dark, which was a 90s Nickelodeon show. I know I'm showing my age, but whatever. And a bunch of kids that were friends sat around campfires and they told scary stories that somewhat came true, especially in the movie. The movie was fantastic. So if you ever want to see Are You Afraid of the Dark, and then as I'm talking about Are You Afraid of the Dark, my camera dies. Coincidence? I think not. Anyways, the second book I want to read for fun is Hocus Pocus and the all-new sequel. I'm not even sure who this is by. I don't think it... Oh, written by A.J. Jantha? Okay. Anyways, that's the story of Hocus Pocus and its sequel. I really like the faces. These are the classic original characters, and apparently these are the new ones. So we are going, to see both sides. I think the first one's always going to have a soft spot in my heart, but the sequel sounds really good. It says 25 years later, Max and Allison's 17-year-old daughter Poppy finds herself face to face with the Sanderson sisters in all their sinister glory. When Halloween celebrations don't quite go as planned, it's a race against time as Poppy and her friends fight to save her family and all of Salem from the witch's latest vile scheme. Sounds really good. Hopefully it lives up to its namesake. Alright, the next one I'm going to read is Gizelle in the Shadows by Michelle Peach. This is a review book. I'm trying to read review books. I'm just a tad behind still. But this one sounds really good. It says, in the mid-90s, Elizabeth Booth is a young British college student. I don't know why I got hung up on that. Studying Arabic at Durham University. With some travel and work already under her belt, she excels at her studies and is sent to Damascus to immerse herself in the language. Taken aback by the generosity and kindness of the people there, she easily slips into life in the ancient city. She has friends, her families, and she has friends, her studies, and even a handsome boyfriend. But things aren't always as they seem. Soon, in a world where mistrust and disloyalty are commonplace, Elizabeth finds herself navigating a web of lies, betrayal, and even murder involving M16, the British Secret Service, deadly terrorist factions, and the shadowy Syrian secret police. My God, such a tongue twister. But it sounds really good, and I love the cover, so I am excited to read that. The last book that I am reading for fun is Beware the Wild by Natalie C. Parker. This is her first book. Her second one just coming out, which was Sea Fire. And this is involving a swamp. So there's something about the swamp in Styx, Louisiana. Something different, something haunting, something alive. Everyone knows this, and everyone avoids going near it. Until one morning when Sterling Saucer's older brother Phineas runs into the swamp and doesn't return. I've never read a book involving a swamp, so I think I'm going to really enjoy this. These next two books are for book clubs. They're both in two book clubs that I'm hosting, and another one is in another one that I'm participating in. City a Ghost is a book club that I'm hosting. I also have already read this, so this will be a reread. It is absolutely amazing. I love this. I can't wait for the sequel. And I'm also reading this for the Obscurus Book Club. And I'm also hosting a book club for Warlock Holmes, A Study in Brimstone by G.S. Denning. I am super excited to read this. My friend Craig is absolutely in love with this series. He says it is the best series that he's ever read. And I can't wait to host this. I'm also having like a cosplay contest along with this one, and I'm having a short story written contest with this one. Now on to the punishment books. I have asked my closest friends and my husband, he's also a very close friend of mine, to suggest a book that I should read for October. So these are their picks, and how it's going to go is I'm going to read them, I'm going to rate them. I'm going to rate them a tad bit differently than how I usually rate books. And the person that scores the highest is going to get to tell me a video that they want me to do and give them a $10 Amazon gift credit. So the first book I have here is Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi. Adeyemi? Is that how you pronounce her last name? Still don't know. I tried to read this for, I think it was the BookTubeathon, maybe? I've been trying to read this basically since August, haven't had time to, so my friend Rita, who is City of Books over on Instagram, she suggested that I read this one. Then I have Reflection by Elizabeth Lim. It was suggested by my friend Jess, who is Fawnberry Books over on Instagram. She likes the Twisted Tales. I'm not sure if she's ever read one before. Oh yes, I do remember. She's read Aladdin. She really liked it. She really likes the idea behind Twisted Tales, and she knows that I do too. We've both only read Aladdin, so I'm excited to read this one. She also said that it kind of fits in with the Halloween theme. Next one is Three Dark Crowns by Kendra Blake. This was suggested by my friend Rachel, who is Ellie Beth Bennett over on Instagram. She is a huge fan of this series. Absolutely loves this series. So you just kind of guess why she she suggested this to me. She wants me to join the fandom with her. Also, look at these deckled pages. Isn't that amazing? Next one is Of Fire and Stars by Audrey Colhurst. This was one of the first Owlcrate books that I ever got. And it was suggested by my friend Nikki. Her name is actually Nicole, but we already have a Nicole, so she gets called Nikki, who is the Reading Rebel over on Instagram. She said that she really liked this book, and she figures that this will be a really good fit for me. And it's about time to read this. I've had it since 2016. And the sequel is actually coming out. It's of Ice and Shadows, and I think there's another book that the author wrote that's set in the same universe called Ink Mistress. Correct me if I'm wrong. The next one is The Beast is an Animal by Petronelle Van Arsdale. This was suggested by my friend Craig, who is Fictitious Fox over on Instagram. He says this was the creepiest read, and he absolutely loved it. And also Deckle Pages. But I think he interviewed the author as well. He really likes this book, so I'm going to give it a shot. Then I have Berserker by Emmy Laybourne. I am a huge Emmy Laybourne fan, and I think my friend Stacie, who's Bourne Books over on Instagram, knows this. She is the one that suggested this to me. And this is a Viking book set in the late 1800s, I believe. But yeah, I think I am going to like this book. Love Emmy Laybourne's Monument 14 series. In my eyes, you can do no wrong. The next two books I have are suggested by author friends of mine. This one is Bleeding Misery, which is book 2 in the Threatening Soul series by Nicole Lambert. who is Nerd Couture and Bookish Witchcraft over on Instagram. She wrote this book and she wants me to read it. The other one is Guns, Rations, Rigs, and the Undead by Kendra Radke. She is K-E Radke over on Instagram. She also wrote that book and she wants me to read it, and she thinks that I will like it because zombies. And the last one that my Instagram friends recommended, but not the least, this one is Red Rising, recommended by my friend Danica, who is the Hogsmeade reader over on Instagram. She loves this series. She's a huge Pierce Brown fan. He signed her book a certain way because her name means star, or her name means morning star, something like that, or morning. So he kind of personalized it a little bit more, and she just absolutely fell in love with it. But my husband's read this. He says that he loves it. And I've been trying to read it for a while, so it's about time that I get to it. And then the last one that was suggested by L Husband was The School of Good and Evil by Soman Chainani. I can't pronounce that. Anyways, he says that he heard about this book on NPR. It sounded really good. Basically, there's this girl. She's there's two schools. There's a good school and an evil school where you learn how to be either good or evil. There's this girl who's pretty much the main character. She expects that she's going to go to the good school and kind of prepares it for her whole life, and then ends up in the evil school. So kind of Harry Potter-esque, a bit younger, like middle grade-ish, but that doesn't really matter to me. I do enjoy middle grade. So I think I will enjoy this one as well. And I'm interested to see which one I enjoy the most out of these, and see who the winner is. So hopefully I have that up by like October 31st. So that is my haul. I think I have like let me do a quick count here. 16 books. I have 16 books I'm going to read in the month of October. Hopefully. I think I'm gonna have to make this fair. I think I'm gonna have to do like a little wheel to decide which books I read at which time. So that way it's not obvious that I'm choosing favorites, because my friends would probably get a little angry at me if I chose favorites. I'm like, nah, they wouldn't. They wouldn't care at all. But yeah, so hopefully I get through all of these. Pray for me. But yeah, so leave me down below a comment thinking what you think will be the book that I like the best out of what my friends suggested and why. And I'll see you next time. Bye.